Hello Smart Movers and welcome to Smart Move Insider, a place where we talk about fitness from within. My name is Sergio and I'm talking today with our head coach Bart about nutrition. A broad subject which brings us a lot of confusion with all the information out there. So without further ado, let's get into it. Firstly, I would like to lay down the expectations for our audience. You can't outrun a bad diet. There is no magic pill here. So no matter how much or how intense you train, studies show that you can't make up for poor dietary choices on the long run. Secondly, I would like to start off with CrossFit's nutritional approach. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch and no sugar. Keep intake to levels which support exercise but not body fat. So nutrition is not just for losing weight, but for optimizing performance also. So, where to start? For somebody that never tried a diet or never tried to take control on a diet, how would you advise him to start?
Like you just said, what's the goal? Are we gonna perform? Is it for performance? I wanna be energetic. I wanna maintain weight. Do I wanna gain weight? Do I wanna lose weight? So that would be the start point. Like, what's the goal? Because with any goal, we're gonna have to tweak a little bit. Probably at least the amount of calories you're taking. Play a bit around with the protein intake. So the macronutrients, as they say. So the macronutrients are carbs, protein, and the fats. So we're gonna play around with that. So that's where I would start. Like, okay, what are we trying to achieve?
So first, ask yourself a question: what do you want? Is a question that we all need to ask ourselves in many fields, but we never have an answer for that. So yes, having the answer, what do you want, is perfect. After knowing what you want, what do you need to see second?
I think once we have established the goal, let's talk about losing weight, because I think most people, this is like the most common one, losing weight. So where I would start is like, okay, let's figure out how much calories do I need to start losing weight. And there are some, we can calculate it for you if you don't know, but you could also use a fitness tracker where you track your food, and there it's pretty close. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just need to have a start point, because from the start point, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say at my body weight, I need 3,000 calories to remain at the same weight. If I eat every day 3,000 calories, I'm not going up or I'm not going down.
How tall are you and how heavy are you now? So we have a background.
I'm a meter 95. I'm around 103, 104 kilos, and I think I'm around 16-70% body fat.
So for a big boy like you need 3,000 just to maintain.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. 3,000, 3,200, and then I stay around the same weight. So if in this example 3,000, I would keep my weight. If I would want to lose weight, where I would start is 10% down. So from 3,000, 10%, 300. So I would start eating 2,700 calories for the next weeks. If after a couple of weeks nothing moves, I go again 10% down. I will deduct another 300 calories or 250, something like that. So small jumps. So there's no need to go extreme and say, I want to lose weight, so instead of 3,000 calories, I'm going to eat 2,000. There's no need for it.
Why?
It's a crash style approach. And why make your life hard? Because I don't think it's going to be maintainable. You're going to drop so fast in the amount of calories. If I'm used to eating 3,000 and all of a sudden I cut 30% of it, it's going to be a big change. I don't think it's necessary. It's not going to help mentally and not physically. I prefer to make small weight loss, and that would be 1.5-2 kilos a month. It's enough.
This is a very German approach, methodical and percentage numbers. I never heard it before.
Yeah.
So usually what people do, even if you go to the nutritionist, they just give you like a blueprint. You should be 1,500 calories and that's it. Or in male's case, 2,000 calories and that's it.
I think it's a bit weird.
They don't know how much you eat first.
Yeah.
So how much is the drop and how big of a psychological effect has on you?
Yeah.
Because if you drop too much in calories, you can't work properly, you don't have the nerves for your family, and you're going to be antsy all day.
Hangry,
Angry, yes.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that if I would that guy that usually is 3,000 all of a sudden will be put on a 2,000. I think maybe he will eventually end up there in those steps that I said. Like I'm deducting 10% every month or every 3 to 4 weeks until I see a change happening. And a change doesn't mean I don't need to see every day change. If I'm gonna step on the scale every day, what I'm looking for is over the next weeks, what's the trend? Is the trend down? Because that's my goal, the trend down. In those weeks, you will have days that you go a kilo up, a kilo down because weight fluctuates. But over time, I want to see at day 1 and at day 30, is the trend down? If the trend is down, I'm on the good way and I won't change anything. The moment it stops, I might lower it a bit. So it's a bit of a trial and error. That's how I would play around with it. Small jumps. I think it's mentally easier, like I said, not to go too extreme.
Yeah, you said something very important. You wouldn't want to jump on the scale daily because that makes you like crazy with numbers going down. So basically you want to go that slow that your scale is not that abruptly changing the numbers, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't step on the scale every day because I know weight fluctuates. Because you're going to step on the scale one day and you're going to see that it's up. And it's normal that it's up because that's what weight does, even at your weight now. Some days I weigh 104, some days I weigh like today 102 and a half. It goes up and down. It doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong. It's what I want to see over a couple of weeks, what is the body doing. So probably mentally also a better approach for most people not to look at the scale every day because you get overly focused on that. And the scale, in my opinion, can be a very good tool, but you need to be careful with it because some people, they have like a number in mind. I want to weigh 60 kilos because in their head is like at 60 kilos I must be looking good. I think a better tool would be just look in the mirror every day or take a photo every week and compare them and see what the body composition is doing, and don't be so overly focused on that little number on the scale because it doesn't mean a thing. You could be at the same weight, but because you change your food habits, you look better in the mirror. So ask yourself, what is the goal? Is the goal to look better or is the goal to weigh a certain amount of kilos? I think the goal for most people is to look better, and they have that number in their head because they think at that number I will look good. So forget about that number, look in the mirror. If you look good, be motivated by it. If you look in the mirror and start comparing every day, you won't see it. That's why I say take a photo every week in the same light on the same moment of the day, like in the morning on an empty stomach, in that same bathroom mirror, and compare it. And then after 4 weeks, you'll see that slowly things start to change.
That's a good strategy. Look in the mirror and take a picture. But yes, people do sometimes compare themselves and they make themselves unhappy because what they see on the social media is only ripped people, muscular people, the end goal of your goal, for example. But yeah, that's not the way to go for it. So know your goal, measure calories, don't obsess about the scale. What's the next approach?
Yeah, how to eat probably, yeah? Because there are so many ways to eat. So you started the intro with what's CrossFit's prescription. So CrossFit's prescription has eat meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. So that's their way of like they give you a guideline. If you eat most of the time like that, you're probably gonna be healthy or you'll start losing weight or whatever the goal is because you're only giving yourself good stuff. CrossFit would prescribe so those macronutrients, protein, carbs and fat in a percentage of about 40, 30, 30. So protein, then we're talking about meats, fish, eggs, or for vegetarians, whatever replacement there is. I'm not so up to date about that, like what is it, halloumi is one, but there are other things, protein sources. The carbs, then we're talking about mainly vegetables. In the prescription it says vegetables and some fruit, so the goal would then be eat more vegetables than you eat fruits. It's debatable because this is CrossFit's prescription. In my opinion, I don't think you can overeat on fruits. I jokingly sometimes say when people go too much in detail, yeah, but Shouldn't I? Are these fruits or those fruits not too high in sugar? I jokingly sometimes say, you got fat from eating too much apples, right? We both know that's not the reason why you got to where you got.
But what about bananas? Too many bananas.
Yeah, I bet if you eat 5 bananas a day, but everything in exaggeration, for sure it will have a negative effect. I try to stick to 1 banana a day.
I remember that story with the Beast.
Eddie Hall?
Eddie Hall.
He ate too much bananas?
Yes, he was lacking potassium.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's
potassium. So he googled online what to do with the lack of potassium, and it was bananas. So he ate 5 to 10 to 15 bananas a day because he's a huge guy.
he became a monkey.
In the end, no, he ended up in hospital because he had an overload. I don't know what exactly.
He overloaded himself in his body with something, and that made him sick.
Yes, something was not good at him, but he felt it. He'd go to the hospital. It was a story. It's on his documentary. I think you can find it.
Yeah, but for sure with fruit, I would just say just vary your fruit. Don't eat 5 bananas a day. Eat a banana, eat an apple, eat a pear, eat some grapes, eat berries. I'm a big fan of blueberries. You can't go wrong with blueberries. Take a handful in your snacks, throw them in anywhere. But this is just a prescription, and then we have the fats as the third macronutrients. Nuts, seeds, olive oil, what else can we do? The fats from the fish and the meat. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about macronutrients. And on the carb side, you also have the starchy carbs. In their prescription, they say little starch because they're high in calories, and people tend to overeat. So with starchy carbs, we're talking about rice, bread, potatoes, pasta. So get your carbs mainly from the vegetables and the fruits. In their opinion, more from the vegetables and the fruits. Don't exaggerate with the starchy carbs because people have the tendency to put them at every meal. If I would choose where to put, I would say put it at the meal after your training. I don't think you can go wrong with that, but be aware of not eating the starchy carbs on every meal. Again, this is CrossFit's prescription. We can go through another couple of ways of eating, because in my opinion, I don't think there is one way. There are multiple ways. There are multiple roads that lead to the same destination.
That's why nutrition is so broad, and you don't know where to grab it, because it's many different styles, depending on what is good for your body and for your mind, to be energetic and to live it with ease, not having like a fad diet and just do it for 8 days and then you're slim. That's not sustainable.
I think what I don't like about today's online culture is that it's too much absolutes. Like, if you don't eat vegan, you're gonna die before you're 60. If you don't, there are like too many absolutes. Like, there is only one truth. Like, I don't believe in that, not in training and not in nutrition. I think what's the best nutrition plan, because I don't want to talk about diets, because diet implies that it's going to be short term. I need you to think about what's the way of eating that I'm going to see myself doing 10 years from now, because I can, and it's not an effort. So we want to get into that direction. So what's the best meal plan or way of eating? The one you can stick to. That's my opinion. If that's keto, if that's paleo, if that's zone diet, it doesn't matter if that's intermittent fasting, whatever works for you. But to figure that out, you're going to have to try some things, maybe, and I would say for at least 3 months.
Yes, indeed. You need to change a bit how you eat. In the Romanian cuisine, there's the bread that is not that is into every dish, So trying a bit different. As for example, I remember trying the paleo 8 years ago, and it was the first time I made myself an omelette, and I didn't have the slice of bread next to it. And then the funny story, my dad came to the place where I was staying back then, and I made him an omelette and he didn't give him bread.
And he said, "Where's the bread?"
The dude was shocked.
Yeah.
I still remember to this day the pain face on his face. Yeah.
I've seen Laura's father take bread next to his watermelon.
Yeah,
it's like there are people, they will eat bread with everything and every meal.
It goes back in history, my friend. This is from the poor period in history, people were eating what they can.
Yeah.
There's some let's say areas in the country that I know that they made like the flour, the malai, they made it from like a different plant than you used to. So they were just trying to survive sometimes. Yeah, but this is another chapter.
But this is also a story about in Eastern Europe. It's a bit of, and also Belgium has that also. It's like the potato meat region of the world.
Exactly.
So it's just like, it's been like that always. And when I came to Romania 15 years ago, I always had to laugh because on the traditional restaurants I went to, I would get a big portion of the starchy carbs, or rice or potatoes, big portion of the meat, and then the vegetables, a varza salad, like in a little bowl on the corner. It's like the topping, it's like, yeah, it's there, but it's not there. It's like, it's not a priority. You can see that that's a bit ingrained in traditional cuisine in entire Eastern Europe.
Yeah, now it's getting a bit better. Or it's just me.
I think people are
Some
more
restaurants,
conscious.
yeah,
no?
they try to order different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in Greece, for example, they always give you a salad before anything.
That's good. I think it's a good habit.
Yeah.
So in the what I also adhere to, nutrition is about consistency, and I had a lot of people, they have the tendency to, it's all or nothing type of approach. And when I talk to somebody about nutrition, I ask them what are they doing now, and I'm asking them, what do you think it's your biggest problem at the moment? Because I don't think most people don't know what good food is. They know, but somehow they cannot form the habit to set up their day or to set up their plan in a way that on a constant basis they will have the, between brackets, clean food. So when I'm analyzing with somebody their food habits, I'm asking them what they think their biggest problem is, because I'm trying to change habits. I don't think if you're in the habit of eating in a certain way that I'm going to write you on a plan exactly what to eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and you're just going to magically follow it and that will be it. It will be too easy.
Can you give me an example of what that means when you ask somebody about what the biggest problem they think in their diet is?
Can be many things, like I snack too much, I don't eat breakfast, I don't always have a protein source in my meals.
I eat too many sweets.
I eat too many sweets could be also one. I drink cola every day.
Too much pastry.
Too much pastries, yeah. So a lot of people, when I'm asking them how they eat, basically their only real meal is the dinner when they're at home, and all the rest of the day is just snacks. Snacks, and not always the good snacks, because if it would be snacks high in protein and it has fruits or it has vegetables, it would not be a problem in essence, but they're going for the croissant, they're going for the, I don't know what, chocolate with a coffee, or they're snacking and not always the good snacking.
Yeah, desserts and stuff like that.
So I would ask them, okay, if you drink cola every day, a small change would be, okay, I want you to try to drink cola every other day. Let's start with that. But most people's reaction to suggestions of small changes is, it doesn't work for me like that. I need to change everything and be full in and be strict with myself, otherwise it won't last. I have to laugh a bit with that answer, because if it would be like you say it is, it's for me all or nothing, why aren't you at the body composition you want? Why aren't you already, why are we still having this talk? If you already know what works for you, why aren't you doing it? Why? Because you have a problem changing habits. Habits need to be changed in small steps. I know why people have that reflex. I need to be extreme so I get faster to results. I need to just let go of the I need to be there in 3 months attitude. I need to make progress in 3 months, but my final destination will probably be a year or two from now. And it's going to be a constant process. make mini steps in between towards your end goal, and don't try to fix it all at once, because then you're going to need to go in extremes, and extremes don't last. You're going to do so much change that you're going to be unhappy. It's going to feel hard. You're going to be mentally strong and say, fuck it, I'm going to stick it out for 3 to 6 months. And then you're going to say, fuck, it was enough. I can't continue like this. And then we're back to, you need to make habit changes and a way of eating that is going to be long term. So to get to that full package long term eating, maybe there are going to be 6 months of changing small habits before you're there. You don't need to do that on day one. You shouldn't do that on day one. I always see people fail when they do that.
Yeah, it's like filling a basket. If you fill the basket with all the clothes at once, it will overload. But if you stack them one by one and put them in the good position, you will put maybe double the amount. And many times what they want to do is everything now. They want to start exercising, they want to start working on their mobility, they want to start nutrition, they want to start meditating, getting sunlight, reading, journaling, and they start everything. So these 7 habits, they try to put it at once because Andrew Huberman says so.
They heard the list and they made that list and they know, and they heard that they explain that it's good for me, but you don't need to do everything at once. You have time. Slowly focus on your biggest problem. You can still do meditating, add it in later. You can go, maybe you will start off with only focusing on the food for the first 3 months before you add in 2 days or 3 days of training. Not all at once. It will be too big of a shock, too big of a life change. It's going to become overwhelming.
Yes, exactly. And the clients I talk to, when they try to come to the gym, is to hold them a bit back. I get them inside the gym, I get them into contact with the coach, but then they say, I want nutrition also. And then I just need to guide them and say, look, let's start 4 weeks, let's hold on to this schedule, prove me that you come 2 times a week, and then we should discuss about nutrition. And by then we talk to Lore, which is our nutrition coach, and when they finish the 4 weeks, she will tell them, let's see how you handle it in the regular classes, and then we're going to switch your diet habits, because we want you to be energetic and to be to have power to do what we do inside. So
yeah, because imagine starting CrossFit directly on a calorie deficit.
You're going to be like the wall, whitish.
Yeah, because it's important to make sure that your goals in the training and your goals with the nutrition match. So like if your nutrition goal is to lose weight, you're going to be on a calorie deficit. If you're going to be on a calorie deficit, you might not be so energetic, so that's going to reflect on your training. So you need to then change a bit your attitude in training, meaning I cannot go 100% in training because I might not feel so energetic. I cannot be frustrated because I don't PR my back squat, because I'm not eating for performance. I'm not eating to PR my back squat. I'm eating to lose the body fat. So be very aware of that. If you're gonna do conflicting goals with nutrition versus training, you're gonna get frustrated.
We're going to talk just about in a minute about the performance optimization.
Yeah.
We are still at the weight loss. So let's continue a bit on this one, and then we're going to move to the how you should eat when you're trying to perform. Because like you said, when you're under eating, you're not performing. Don't mix these two. They're going to collide head to head.
So to go back to the weight loss, so I like to guide people towards an 80-20 goal, because like I said before, people like extremes, and they know that, for example, eating the chocolate isn't good. So the moment they decide that they're gonna be on a diet, as they call it, they say no more chocolate, zero, for the next 6 months, zero. I don't like that approach. I'm telling them about the 80-20 rule. I don't think you should cut out any of your foods that you like. That's where that 20% comes in. So what I'm meaning is 80% of the time, I'm gonna be focusing on eating the way, whatever style I chose, eating clean in that way. And 20% of the time, I'm gonna plan in the foods that I like, and I will eat them without guilt. Because that 20% of the time, it's not gonna undo the 80% of the time that you did well. And it's gonna be mentally easier knowing that it is okay to to eat whatever you want. The problem is that you got to this point because you ate what you like too much, too often. Your balance 80-20 was off. You were maybe at a 50-50, and that's why you started gaining weight.
This sounds very good. I like it. But give me a certain example how you can measure the 80-20% rule in a week. Because this is where the mistake is made. Because you don't know how to apply the 80-20%.
Okay. So imagine that I'm having the 3 main meals. So that's 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. That's about 21 meals. 20% would probably be around 3 or 4. When I'm saying the 20% rule doesn't mean you eat a full day of go all out, full in. It means that from 21 meals, 3 meals, in the 3 meals you'll say, I will eat the cheesecake, meal 1 of the 20%. I will eat a hamburger with fries or a pizza, meal 2. So like that, and like that you do 3 meals during the week. I will eat the Snickers bar. I know it's not good, but I like it. It will be one of my 3 or 4 things that I do that week that I know, like, yeah, it's not that good, but it falls in my 20%. I can get away with it. So to think a little bit like that and to say, okay, yeah, that Snickers bars, that will be that 1 meal. That full piece of chocolate, we will count it as 1 meal. Not I'm gonna eat half a kilo of chocolate. So be a bit reasonable. But yeah, eat that pizza once a week, eat a dessert, eat a croissant, but just try to think a little bit in that style. Out of 21 meals, or if you count all your snacks, you have, 35. So think a little bit like that when you're thinking about the 20-80 rule.
So try to be normal. Don't be a freak. Don't stand out in a restaurant.
Exactly.
And don't be too severe on you. How I do it is, I usually go Monday, Friday, like a German, very strict on my diet. For many months now, I'm not eating sweets at all. Sweets meaning desserts, chocolate, whatever you can take, or like biscuits, or like anything that's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Sweets, added sugar in the foods.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, not on purpose. So Monday to Friday, I'm like clean. Having 3 meals a day, usually, regularly, I try to have 3 meals a day. Not too many snacks, but just some apples there or a banana. But then on Sunday and Saturday, I don't go full out. I'm just, okay, if my mom comes to my sister and they made like those pancakes that I like, or like some muffins.
It's also my favorite, pancakes.
Yeah. Or on Sunday, if we stay home and we cook something, we also make a dessert. Can be anything. Or we have a pizza, we have a movie night, or a popcorn. So that's my rule. Weekly, like in the week I'm strict, but in the weekend I allow myself, but not from morning till evening, because I can fuck myself up so bad like that.
I think I've seen many cases where during the week they are pretty clean, so we track the calories, but then in the weekend they go so over the top that they undo what they did in the week. They go way past the 20%. They go way in calories, total calories, they go way past what they did during the week. So it's a bit of consciousness. You go for, like you said, you go for those. I eat a pizza in the week and then I eat a dessert. And for the rest, the other meals are kind of balanced. You're not gonna undo anything. But I know people, and I had 7 beers and I had a pizza. And if you add all those calories, it's like, okay, now you went a bit too far. So a bit of measuring can help.
Sometimes I have cravings in the week, and I'm just noting in my mind that I'm going to have that certain dessert, like papanache. I'm going to go at that restaurant, I'm going to have that, it's going to be awesome.
Do you know Jocko Willink?
Yeah,
it's
Jocko.
Like Jocko, yeah. And that a Navy SEAL that has a podcast, and he was recently talking about how he does it for himself. He, for example, programs on Wednesday, I'm gonna eat pancakes. When Wednesday arrives, he tells to himself, tomorrow. He fights the craving, he goes Thursday, says tomorrow. And then he says, sometimes I still eat them, and sometimes I'm like, it was just a craving I didn't really want. It was a funny anecdote that he says that to himself, but he's a bit of a hardcore. I say eat the pancakes, eat them, and be happy with it. Don't feel guilty. You're going to be fine.
Life is short. You should have at least what you want.
You don't need to deny yourself anything. You just don't need to exaggerate. Like bananas are good, but if you eat 7, you end up in hospital apparently.
Probably a bit too much. Yeah.
So yeah, don't deny yourself any foods. What I also have with people is that with that impatient, they want to get to the goal fast. They have some kind of event in 3 months, and it all now needs to happen.
Let's say it up front. They have a wedding.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. It's wedding season. Yeah, they have a wedding, and in 3 months is the wedding. They should have probably started a year ago to prepare for that food challenge that they have, but they want to do it in 3 months. What I usually ask those people that I feel like they want to get somewhere fast is, how long is it ago that you were at a body composition you liked? In a lot of cases, they will answer me, it's years. In that case, it's been years of a build-up from where you were happy with your body composition, and now we're 3 years later, and now you're unhappy. You gained too much weight, you would like to go back. You cannot expect 3 years of gaining weight to be reversed in 3 months. It's just not realistic. And it would be very unhealthy to do so. So give yourself the time and just, like I said before, small goals. I'm going to do 2 kilos per month. In X amount of months, I'm going to be at X amount of weight, but don't set yourself such a time limit that it needs to go fast. It needs to be sustainable. So be patient with yourself. Don't deny yourself anything because you don't want to do 80-20. You want to go 100% clean because you think you're going to get there faster. It's going to bite you in the ass. It's going to be better mentally to do 80-20 and give yourself some more time. And if you have a wedding, plan it out and force yourself to start changing your food habits longer before, so you don't have to mentally torture yourself that much.
So what do we still have for weight loss? So we, as a rehearsal, know your goal. If you want to lose, you want to gain. Start measuring at least how you eat to know where to start from, and then try to measure and stay in the range that you want to, minus 10%, let's say. Let's go. Don't obsess with the scale. How to eat. Learn that you can eat without bread a certain meal. Base yourself on vegetable, meats, nuts and seeds, some fat, little starch, no sugar. Make gradual changes.
Yeah, not everything at once.
And you always start with a bit of introspection. What is their biggest problem in their mind?
And
so
you can start your first change.
Yeah.
Because or you analyze yourself, or you get a bit of help to get to the analyze from somebody like Lore or one of our coaches, and then start making the first small change. Talking about measuring, when I measure, I don't measure all year long my food. I measure it in periods. I use a food tracker called MyFitnessPal, but there are many online, but I've always used MyFitnessPal. It's handy. I scan the barcode on the food and it gives me the macronutrients, and I think it's a handy app. I measure in periods because eyeballing, meaning you're looking at the food and you're estimating how much you're eating, can be deceiving in the positive or in the negative way. You might eat more than you think, or you might eat less than you think. So I think it's handy maybe for a couple of weeks to put everything you eat in a fitness tracker, because then you can draw some conclusions. Maybe you eat too much calories or too little according to your goal. Maybe your protein intake is a little bit low and you can start making changes. I don't think you need to measure all the time. I think once you have measured for a period, usually people kind of eat the same things, and then you can eyeball it after. Because if for a month I made the same breakfast, I can then for the next month without measuring it, I can still get very close to it. When do I start measuring again? When I'm looking in the mirror and maybe according to my goal, my body composition is changing, and then I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm eating more than I'm needing at the moment, and maybe then it's time to measure again and then to dial it in again for a month, and then we're off again for 3, 4, 5 months of no measuring. So I think it can be a handy tool, but I don't think it's necessary to measure all year long. Coming back to, so far we talked about CrossFit's prescription, how they suggest you to do your food. There are a couple of styles I tried during the years, because like I said, there is now one style. I think the style that fits best with you, you have to find it by trying stuff. So you've tried it also, I've tried it also, paleo. So paleo, that's mainly fruits, vegetables, lean meats, fats, eggs, nuts, no starchy carbs, no dairy. That's basically paleo. CrossFit was big in the beginning when we started CrossFit into Zone, which is very close to paleo. The only difference is they do have low-fat dairy, but it's pretty close to paleo. I've also tried vegetarian for a while after I saw that Netflix documentary Game Changers.
Yeah.
So this was one of the fads where they, like media is pushing, advocating certain things, and this is the new thing, and athletes do very well on it. And I didn't say yes or no. I said, let's give it a try. What I felt on it was, by not eating meat anymore, at a certain point I was starting to get lightheaded, so I assume I was starting to get low in iron. I should have probably taken some iron supplements while I started that, but I didn't think of it. It was for me not a style of eating that I would enjoy long term. I just wanted to try it. I enjoy eating meat. I enjoy eating certain foods and just eating mainly vegetables and grains and potatoes and stuff like that. I missed meat. I've also done one called anabolic fasting. It's just one of the styles of fasting, because there are many styles. You also do fasting, right?
Yes.
Maybe you can talk a bit about that.
I'm usually not skipping the breakfast, but delaying it. I'm eating from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. But usually I liked it because it was the busy diet, the busy man diet.
Yeah.
So if I got very fast and I'm like not spending time making my breakfast and just going on my laptop or coming to the gym, for me it was very
Just
smooth.
drink coffee or tea in the morning and that was it.
Coffee and tea, yeah.
Yeah.
Black coffee, no milk.
This is also what I liked about it. I did that also like for 6 months, and I also liked that I didn't need to worry about breakfast. You can just get up, get going with whatever you're doing. But it was weird in the beginning because I was so used to 3 meals a day, and with snacks getting up to 5 even. So in the beginning of the fasting, I had a hard time because I got my body so used to being hungry in the morning to eat that in the beginning, reaching 11, my stomach started hurting. I don't know if you had that in the beginning.
Yeah, and it gets very fast used to the other way around.
Yeah.
So if you stop the intermittent fasting and you start eating, it's the same. It's very hard to get used to back to it again, and then vice versa.
Yeah, I took me a couple of weeks, but eventually 11 became 12, 12 became 1, 1 became 2, and then even if I would have wanted to, I could have had my first meal at 4. But I liked it. So the variation that I did was called anabolic fasting, and it would be skip the breakfast and then around 2 meals a day, plus 2 snacks. Between 12 and 2, I would have 1 meal, and around 7, 8 when I got home. And the 2 main meals would always be the same: some meat or fish with some vegetables. And if there would be a craving for starchy carbs, the only starchy carbs in that style of eating was sweet potato. The snacks would then be, before my training I would have a protein shake, and before bed would be a banana and peanut butter, a spoon of peanut butter. The idea of that guy that had that anabolic fasting diet was that banana and that peanut butter would get you through the morning until the lunch by spiking your insulin, and it would help you sleep better. I got through the morning. I don't know if it was because of the banana and peanut butter, but it was a tasty snack at least. and also on that one I leaned out as well. So the last one that I tried, that was recently from the summer, from just before the summer, was one called animal-based eating. The new hype around that period was the carnivore diet. So I had a look into the carnivore diet, but that was a little bit restrictive for me because it was just eat meat, eggs, yeah, as much as you can, just meat and eggs. The animal-based diet, it's a little bit different. It's like eat fruits, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, but no vegetables.
And how long did you do it for?
4 months, just to try it out. Because I was curious, what will the body do if I don't give vegetables? Is it such a big difference with not eating vegetables and only fruits? The conclusion was no. But I also come out of a culture that eating fruits next to meat is not weird. In Belgium we have traditional dishes like apple mousse, like sauteed apples on the fire with meat. We have dishes like that. So for me it was not weird. And yeah, I liked it. The main benefits that I felt from it was I liked the food that I was eating. Everything was tasty. I wasn't missing anything. Energy was high. Maybe more because of maybe cutting the grains. I didn't have the spikes in insulin that much anymore, so I didn't have my energy level was pretty stable. I didn't have that drop in energy in the afternoon. And another side effect that I noticed on that one was that my skin became very smooth in comparison to before. Maybe me personally have some kind of maybe grains has some kind of an effect on my skin that I didn't know about, but I felt that as something that wasn't there before. But overall, I like the style of eating. Now I kept some. So how I'm eating now is I kept some of the principles, but I did start adding in some vegetables again, and I started adding in some starchy carbs again, like potatoes, rice, and some bread. Maybe not as much as I would eat before. So maybe if I would eat in my breakfast bread, maybe in the dinner and in the lunch, I wouldn't go for starches anymore. Or in one of the two I would, in at least in one meal I wouldn't. Where maybe before I would eat a slice of bread at breakfast, maybe I would have some rice at lunch and some potato at dinner. Maybe now I have one in one of the meals only, because I didn't really miss it before when I was just going animal based. But that's the only change. So I did keep the main focus of the animal-based diet, which is everything is based around the protein. So in every meal, and I'm still doing it, I build my meal first thinking what's my protein source. All the rest will be extra. So when I'm thinking of breakfast, I'm thinking what's my protein source. The same at lunch, the same at dinner. Everything starts from the protein source. Why? Is because when you have a high protein meal, you feel fuller faster. If I feel fuller faster, I will have less, it will be less likely that I will go for the, between brackets, bad stuff, or I won't have cravings to eat the dessert because I'm just too full. If I just ate 300 grams of chicken with fruits or vegetables next to it, I don't feel anymore like eating a cheesecake. I'm too full to do that. So if I prioritize my protein, if then afterwards I'm still hungry and I have a craving, I will maybe do that cheesecake, but 90% of the cases I'm too full to do that. So the other reason to go high protein is because I want to hold on to muscle. I want to hold on to muscle and I will build muscle. It hires my metabolism. It fuels my trainings. It helps me lift the heavy weights. It helps me recover, and it's a priority for me because I want to hold on to as much muscle as I can, because later on in life, that is what's going to keep me out of the retirement home and keep me take care of myself. So
if we are leaning into this subject, let's talk about optimizing your performance with nutrition. Mm-hmm. And you said something very important. you want to train without losing your muscles. You want to train to gain muscle. So until now we talked about how to lose muscle, we talked about how we eat, and now let's talk about how to eat to support the effort that we are putting daily into our workouts.
Yeah, so if I want to be energized for training, I'm gonna be or on a maintenance or I'm gonna be on a surplus in calories. Depends a little bit. But that's where it's gonna start again. Okay, how much calories do I need? This is gonna be start point again. If I'm on a maintenance, let's say I told you already 3,000, around 3,000 should be my maintenance. I will start eating like that. I will balance it in the style that I like, whatever that is, paleo, animal based, whatever. I will base my food. I do the 80-20 rule, and I will get as much unprocessed and good foods as I can. And then I'm gonna look a little bit again in the mirror, once in a while to the scale. I'm gonna see what's happening. If my goal is just to feel energetic, I'm gonna think, am I feeling energetic? Yes or no? Is my weight staying where it is? If so, everything good. Keep doing what you're doing. Am I not feeling so energetic? Then let's see a little bit what we can do. Maybe I need to up the protein. Maybe I need to up the fats. I need to maybe play around with my macronutrients a bit. Maybe I start to gain weight while I need to be in maintenance level. Then maybe I need to lower the total calories a bit. So it's going to be playing around a bit. It's all going to be trial and error and a bit feeling. Like, am I achieving, am I feeling how I want to be feeling?
It's like a game. For example, if you want to start lifting more weight, you need to add a bit more weight on yourself. You need more muscles. But there's a thin line, because if you overload yourself with weight, you will probably be muscular, but you will not be well rounded and will not do well into a CrossFit workout. So you need to balance it out a bit. It's like chemistry, playing with those 3 micronutrients and then playing with the amount that you put inside your body.
I've been playing that game since you know me. I arrived in Cluj 15 years ago. I told you I'm 195, but 15 years ago I was 82 kilos. I'm 104 now. So I've been playing that game for years. So at 82 kilos, obviously at 195, I was skinny and tall. So because I was tall, I looked even skinnier than I was. So I've been playing that game of bulking up, cutting down till I get closer and closer to the body composition I wanted. So how that would look like is I would go into an excess of calories, not a lot, the same thing, plus 10%, and the scale would slowly start moving. Also, when you're into that gain muscle, get bigger, also to get stronger vibe, you don't want to gain 6 kilos in 1 month because most of it will be fat. So also small amount of gains, again by clean eating, not just by doing McDonald's 5 times a week. Same idea, same food but bigger quantity, same 80-20 rule. But it's just going in the other direction. Instead of in the weight loss direction, it's in the other direction. And then it's a bit of a playing around with it. I would have periods of 3-4 months of overeating. In a surplus, I would gain 7 kilos. Of that 7 kilos, obviously it's not all muscle. Then I would go into a deficit for 3 months. I would lose some weight. So I would go 7 up, 4 down. I would end up with 3 kilograms extra muscle because I would be back around the same body fat as I started.
So it's still an effort, no matter if you try to lose weight or gain weight, it's still an effort because you need to play around with it. You need to overeat, and overeating, I know very well that's not easy. I'm not usually eating that much, but whenever I try to put myself a goal to gain a bit more muscles, eating that one extra meal made my day very, very hard. Like my energy was not that good because I was needing to digest it, and then I was heavier into the workouts. My food maybe wasn't digested till the workout, so I'm having troubles. For example, doing this, I would like to gain 5 kilos more, but it just doesn't add up.
It's like you say, it's hard either way, losing or gaining. It's hard work because you're eating. You have an amount of calories to eat that you spread throughout the entire day, and you might end up at the evening seeing that you still need 30 grams of protein, but you're not that hungry anymore, but you still need to eat them.
Yeah, and the thing goes well hand in hand because you are a very good self-learner, and not just this, you are trying it on your own skin, so you know how to talk about it when you try to advise somebody else to do it. So overall, diet needs to be customized to each individual based on your goals and lifestyle factors. The best way to optimize diet, if you are not a self-learner, is to get a nutrition coach. Sometimes when we are stuck in the nutrition subject and we don't know which way to go, we need to ask somebody who maybe passed through this or maybe just studies this and is their own passion and they try to teach other people. So talking about this, we have Lore. Lore is dealing with the nutrition of the entire community, and I think you know better than me what is her approach. In big, how would you describe it?
I think just like what I talked about, seeing small habits over time to learn you how to make better food choices. No extreme changes from the start. No, here is a paper and this is exactly what you need to eat because there is no one way. She tries to work with what you're eating at the moment, make small changes and start to slowly steer you in the right direction. The goal in the end is to adjust your way of eating at the moment, learn you what is good, what is bad and why, because there are also people that order out a lot and then we need to work with that. Like maybe we'll help them not cook. I would say we help them more compose meals. So at least they, when necessary, it could be like, okay, you're gonna have a tuna and you're gonna put some vegetables next to it and I don't know, and an avocado and some nuts and some berries. This is not cooking. This is just putting things on a plate. So we work with what we have, and if people do cook, then we work in that direction because that's ideal, but not everybody cooks anymore these days.
Yes, indeed. We are ordering. Haven't you seen the many Glovo guys that are traveling with the bikes up and down Cluj-Napoca? There are many of them. So besides showing you the way, Lori keeps you also accountable, right? Because that works really good. Somebody just pull you again to the good side and see what you ate, so she can guide you, analyze a bit.
Yeah, it's easy to fall off the wagon if nobody's looking, but if somebody's looking over your shoulder, it for sure helps. It for sure helps. It's everybody needs a bit of guidance, and it's good that you know that in X amount of weeks you will have another talk and you will be put on the scale and we will check your body fat again. And we will analyze a bit what you did in the last weeks and what you could have done better. So in the next block you can try to make the change. So to come a little bit back on, I wanted to still give you an example of what do I really eat in a day. Just to give you a little bit of an example, because once you will find the things you like, most days are going to start looking the same. So when I'm talking about high protein focus, I'm trying to get to around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So that comes down for me to like between 200 and 240. That's what I'm aiming for. So for most people it's 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, depending on your goals. If it's weight loss maintenance or if it's gaining muscle. So most days my breakfast is eggs. Eggs, there is a bit of I don't know, myth around it, because I tell you I eat 5-6 eggs for years already, and I can already tell you that I do regular blood work, I don't have high cholesterol. In this period I started changing a little bit, and I do half egg whites and half yolks just to see a little bit how it is, but so far I don't feel any difference, but we'll see when I do a blood test if there is any difference, but I don't expect it to be. So I do eggs, a combo of vegetables and fruits on the side. On some days I put avocado, and then I put a paste of avocado on 2 toasts and the eggs go on top. On other days I skip the bread, it depends. and then I put a kefir or a drinkable, what is it I have here, one standing, one of these, Olympus, Greek yogurt drinkable. And when I put this all together, that's going to give me 70 grams of protein. That's my breakfast. So my goal is optimizing my protein. All the rest around it is the plus, the icing on the cake. For lunch, often I go for minced meat. It can be Vita, it can be a combo of pork and Vita. I bake that in the pan, and I take one of those whole meat tortillas. The meat goes on top. I look at what vegetables I have in the fridge, tomatoes or ardei, some corn. I throw it on top, a little bit of ketchup, and that will be my lunch. I will have one or two, maybe two in a row, or in a 2-hour window when I'm at my desk. I will eat one, and another hour I'll eat another one. When I do that, I'll get another 70 or 80 grams of protein in that source. So I'm already over half of my protein by that moment. I'm going to go to training usually at 6. I'm going to have a protein shake, half a liter of milk, a banana. I have a very big scooper of protein, and that gives me around 50 grams of protein, the milk combined with the protein. So at this point I'm already at 200 or just over. And then my dinners usually look the same. It's a meat or a fish with some vegetables. And depending on if I had bread sources, like maybe I had the toast or maybe I had the tortilla in the lunch, I will see. If it's a rest day, usually I don't do starchy carbs next to my dinner. If it's a workout day, I will eat the potatoes and the rice next to my meat, vegetables and or fruits. So that's usually how my meals look like. So my focus is, for the reasons I told you before, is getting that protein. Most people I talk to, they're low on protein. With most people we analyze on what they could do better, they're low on protein, and the protein will be important to hold on to your muscle mass, especially if you're on a calorie deficit. You want to hold on to all the muscle mass you have because it helps you, your metabolism. So it's going to be important to be high in protein when you're on a deficit. If you want to change body composition, you need to do something with your nutrition, no matter if it's going up in weight or going down in weight. Training alone won't solve it. You need to eat according to your goals. Make sure your training goal and your nutrition goal matches, so they're not in conflict with each other. Don't try to set PRs when you're on a deficit, for example, as we talked about. Find a way of eating that's sustainable long term. There is not one way, there is the way you will stick to. That's going to be the way, whatever that is. Paleo, fasting, whatever. Try it out for 3 months, see if it's good for you, stick with it, or try something else. Make small changes. Don't try to change everything on the first day. Small changes, give yourself a couple of months to build up to what is the, between brackets, perfect way to do 80% of the time the things you're supposed to do. Don't think in extremes, just like I said, go for the 80-20 rule. You do not need to say goodbye to chocolate. You can eat the things you like, even when you are on a diet. But you know, I don't like the word diet. It's a meal plan. It's the way you will eat from now on.
Great. Good then, let's end it up here. I hope we shed some light today or made you think about a place to start. If you have any questions left after this subject, it would be great help to write us on our email at info@smartmovecrossfit.ro or shoot us a message on Instagram at smartmovecrossfit. Next time, we'll discuss about supplements. We are recommending using supplements after you get a hold on your nutrition. So stay tuned, we're going to talk about it in depth. If you want more information about the two of us, you can find our details into the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.